Gentrification, the process of transforming a low-income neighborhood through an influx of more affluent residents and businesses. Gentrification is happening more and more in the world around us, and Korea is not an exception. In fact, gentrification takes a deep root in the history of South Korea. With the rapid urbanization of Korea, streets of Seoul have been going through fast-paced development. In the midst of urban development, gentrification has become an increasingly growing concern. As the area improves and becomes more desirable, property values, rents, and the cost of living tend to increase as well. This consequently can displace the natives who may have lived in the area for a very long time but all of a sudden are unable to afford the higher cost of living. This type of forced eviction and displacement have become widespread and have taken place systemically in the name of urban redevelopment. Haebangchon, a district in Yongsan-gu in Seoul, South Korea, literally means liberated village. With the liberation of Korea in 1945 that ended 35 years of Japanese colonial rule and the Korean War, Haebangchon became a town for those who were displaced due to war, like those returning from abroad and refugees from North Korea. Most of the residents who settled in Haebangchon were poor and marginalized people who couldn't afford to get a house, so they built an unauthorized shantytown at the foot of Namsan Mountain and began to live together. Because of its geographical characteristics adjacent to the US military bases in Yongsan, it also became an exotic place where various foreigners live and a high concentration of foreign cultures coexist with old Korean traditions. The recent urban renewal has quickly transitioned to a popular attraction for the younger generation, where westernized coffee shops, bakeries, and restaurants are concentrated. Other characteristics of Haebangchon, such as low rent and proximity to other popular locations within Seoul, make it ideal for young entrepreneurs to start new businesses in Haebangchon. Aside from these social and economic benefits, other cultural and historical facts make Haebangchon an iconic location. An unknown fact about Haebangchon is that it lives the sad history of Korea. It is in fact a living artifact of the Korean War. The residents of Haebangchon have a variety of generations, including first and second generation natives, as well as poor artists, migrant workers, and young people who recently entered the village. Most first-generation residents can be rooted back to post-colonial years when Haebangchon was first settled by refugees fleeing the war, North Koreans who had fled south, and other poor displaced people who had no place to live. With the recent urban gentrification, there is a new wave of younger generation culture artists and entrepreneurs that are occupying the region. In Haebangchon, not only Koreans, but also families from the US military bases and migrant foreigners of various nationalities who entered the country from the US, Europe, and Southeast Asia live in a mixture like a furnace. The urban regeneration project of Haebangchon should be carried out in the direction of preserving some of the unique history and culture so that the emotional bonds of the local community remain untouched. Exploring new ways to depart from past gentrification mistakes is critical in developing urban regions strategically. In order to do so, the urban regeneration project in Haebangchon should focus on representing the history and lives of the local people rather than the commercial products and opportunities which for a long time had been the focus of the past gentrification effort in Seoul. This will not only add long-term competitiveness to the region, but also successfully transform its landmark as the role model of gentrification process for other regions in Korea and around the world to follow.